Sup, Reitannite, Seishin here. I wrote something on November 20th, 2017 about something in my dreams you should try. And I figured I'd read it for my YouTube, since it's sort of a dream journal sort of thing. So, I discovered a regular thing I can do in my dreams, and since I mostly believe dreams have to do with the multiverse theory, I wanted to see if you guys wanted to try this, and if your results are the same. This only works if you are mostly in control of the dream you're having, meaning you are in complete control of your body, and you have some control over the environment. Find a large, completely blank white wall anywhere in your dream, but it works better if there are little to no projections, aka people in your dream, around. Walk up to it, but face away from it, and start pacing. You'll want to pace perpendicular from it and count each turn. On 10, you should be walking up to the wall, not away from it. You only have about a half a minute to do this next part. Sorry, I'm extremely tired. Press the front of your body against the wall, your palms flat against it, close your eyes, and slowly, gently apply pressure. You're trying to push yourself through it. It should give in like a wall of soft clay, and once you feel you've passed through it, you can open your eyes. My apologies. If you look behind you, there is no wall but the hole you just passed through. It may or may not close up. The rest of the area around you will be completely black, even the floor. It'll look like you're standing on nothing. When I first discovered this place, I thought it was bottomless because I dropped a coin and it kept falling with no sound of it landing. I was afraid of it for a long time before a few projections showed me it was safe. Sometimes, when you go through the wall, you might feel a drop, as if the invisible floor of the blackness is a step down, but other times it'll be a straight shot. I think it depends on where you enter. If the hole behind you closes, it will be more difficult to return to your normal dream world. Don't worry about that. Start walking in any direction. You can even walk behind the hole if it's still open, and just keep walking until something happens. During your walk, it will be completely silent, and it might be kind of cold. By the way, if you want to take people with you, you must all enter through the same wall during the same 30-second interval. I found that if you enter at different intervals, you'll enter at completely different areas, and it's unlikely you'll find each other. What is this place? It's a way to explore other universes, or at least one of the ways I've found. If you keep walking, eventually the darkness will fade, and you will be in the middle of some random area in a different universe. You may or may not meet up with a different version of you. Be careful, because not all universes are nice. I once entered a world where there were weird creatures that had uncontrollable sex drives. I was with 2 other people, and I was the only one who was able to run successfully without getting assaulted. There was another weird sex one where, and I vomited, I encountered a family of a mother, father, and 2 very young children, a boy and a girl. I was first disgusted that the parents started having sex in front of their kids, but then their kids started getting involved with each other, and as I noped on out of there, I was pretty sure it was a family orgy. I was not okay with that. There was a recent one where all of the people were short and adorable. Short as in like 3 feet tall. They were all happy and easily frightened. The thing was, they were frightened of yelling, anger, and tall people, and as happy as they usually were, if someone yelled, was angry, or was tall, they'd know they weren't from their world and they'd kill them. Well, my friends and I were much taller, but were able to trick them by crawling on the ground. They weren't that bright. It wasn't easy to get out of there. I had another experience where a different version of myself had been captured and tortured by Anatir, and I had to fight her to free myself. Confusing. I used a sword. Anatir's fortress was guarded by her creatures. The worst one I've visited twice now is one where everything is industrial, and everyone who is not the government is considered an experiment, whether mental or physical. The first time, a very drunk version of Aaron has sold my rats to a gang of drifters, and they were trapped in a tennis ball container of all things. I had to try over and over again to save them, but it wasn't easy because I had to navigate an impossible roller coaster of tracks that were broken in places. In my second visit, I had to run around a government facility to save my friends while pretending to be under the government's control. Oh wow, I missed apostrophe there. Possessive governments, not multiple governments. Anyway, I freed some of them, but security was alerted, and we had to fight several creatures that took the shape of people we knew and trusted. I had a knife this time, and we all agreed not to attack anyone until they attacked first, but I panicked and accidentally stabbed a friend through the hand and another in the leg. After that battle, we split up to find the others, but I was put in a difficult situation. The rest were held in the same prison that was a metal box with breathing holes, so I couldn't see them. Some agents told me to let them out, you have to give yourself up, otherwise we will force feed them poison. One of my friends said, don't worry about us, save yourself, we're willing to die for you. It made me feel like them being trapped was my fault, and I gave myself up. I was given a pill that knocked me out, and I woke up in a classroom to attend some mind control class. I resisted the mind control, but pretended it got to me, and was able to find my friends again and help them escape. I was captured again when we were trekking the sewers and put back in class. The others escaped. As far as I know, I didn't get out. And since then, I haven't visited it since. I haven't been there again. But I found interesting universes that were nice. I landed in the middle of a market that had some sort of food garage sale. They were offering a variety of foods for a very small price, and food that was nearing expiration was free. In that world, the government required several communities to get together once or twice a week to get together their own food, go to the market, and do this so that those who could not afford to feed themselves very often could have a chance to get some quote-unquote groceries for the week. In our world, it would be chaos, and people would be pushing each other so that they could get food before anyone else. But this world was very polite, and everyone was kind to each other, so it was completely docile. In another world, I was on a ship and made friends with a dolphin and sea pig, which was just a pig but could breathe underwater. They both could talk. There was one that was all nature, no houses, and all the little creatures would say hello to me and watch me collect different shiny items I found in weird places. I have recently been there again. I asked them about the items, and they said I could collect as many as I wanted as long as I didn't take any with me when I left their world. So I'd empty my pockets in a single area to show them I wasn't stealing. Before I left, they started hiding them again. I guess it was fun for them. There's an area I find myself in often where there's a game for couples. You had to go through a set of obstacles while singing the song it played and posing in the right spot in various fluffy lovebird poses. It was very mushy, but at the end you'd come to a secret meadow that was cut off from the rest of the world for you and your lover to have a picnic and relax. No one else was allowed to go into the meadow until the game was played in reverse to get out. I know there are more worlds, including one where I met a version of myself who loved to get drunk and party all night, but I don't have time to explain them all. I'm sure you're wondering how to get back to the world you started out in. Well, usually, even if the hole is still open, you can't ever find it again. Like I said, don't worry too much, because after you wake up, your next dream will start in a world outside of the black dimension. The only time you should worry is if you find yourself unable to escape from a scary universe. I usually try to scream to get myself to scream in real life and wake me up, but it never works. Try to wake your body up. If it doesn't work, just keep running and trying to find a way out. Another warning I have is, expect long walks. There was a time where I found a universe, but when I left, I didn't find another one for the rest of my sleep, so I was just walking through blackness. Oh yeah, how do you leave the universes? Just like you left your first one, find a white wall, pace 10 times, push through it. Sometimes when you try to push through a wall, even the first one, it will remain solid. This might be because you did not pace 10 times. You may have missed your interval to go through, or you haven't relaxed and aren't concentrating hard enough. It took me some practice, but I had some people in Dream to help me out. If you manage to do this, please let me know how it goes. I'm very curious to see if others have the same experience. And I've still been able to do these things. Oh my god. Ugh. I'm so tired. I feel like there was something about my dream world that I was gonna mention. Hang on a moment. I don't remember. I've been sitting here for a couple minutes trying to remember. But I don't. So, with that last one, the lovebird puzzle thing to get to that area, I've been there again, but it was like a different version. It was like a post-apocalyptic version where I was running from something and I was trying to get through it, but it wasn't working. Like, the game wasn't working. But I managed to force my way through. And what other worlds have I visited that I've been to before? I don't really remember. But there was this one. This wasn't me phasing through a white wall, but I did have this one dream. A lot of my dreams are quote-unquote movies that I'm directing, that I also act in, apparently. So if something doesn't go right, because I'm lucid, if something doesn't go right, I'll say, cut! No, this is what you did wrong. Or when we're doing a scene, I'll say cut, and I'll be all like, that was great, that was so good, that was awesome. And there's usually this pair of girls that I despise with a burning passion. They're always the same two girls, and I don't remember their names. One of them is more friendly than the other, and usually makes the attempt to be nicer, and, distance herself from the other. But the other is a blonde. The nice one's a brunette. The blonde one is really bitchy, and I've killed her a couple of times, or at least tried. There was this one time where she, had powers, and I was trying to drop her into the middle of the ocean. I usually do that with people, 'cause I could fly. So, but, I guess she was acting in one of my movies because, I don't know, she was just the best part for it. And I told her, I said, hey, and she looked at me, we're not on good terms, we hate each other. I'm like, you did an exceptionally amazing job, and you were perfect for this role. I just want to say that, thank you for everything you've done. She just kind of nodded, when, walked away. But, in this recent one, I don't know what the storyline was. I was some kind of creature. I can't even begin to explain what I was. But, I had, violent tendencies that I couldn't control, that I was trying to control, but I wasn't from this world. So, I had somebody trying to trying to be my friend and trying to get me to, not be violent. But, I saw this trio of, sort of, they're gangsters. They're kind of New York gangsters, or where they have hey, what are you doing? Hey, why don't you just navigate yourself to the back of the line with your shoes and your shirt? Or something like that. I don't remember how that quote goes. But, and so I went past them, and they were just nasty. But, I ignored them until they started harassing some family or something. And, so I came behind one of them, and I punched him in the middle of the spine, and he collapsed like he was supposed to. With the other two, when I punched them, they stayed standing, and they started improvising their lines, and I was like, cut. You guys, you're supposed to go down. You are supposed to be weak compared to me. And one of them was really fat, and the other was really short and stout. And the short one was like, yeah, well, maybe we don't wanna, like arguing with me, and I'm like, I'm the one who pays you. You have to do what I say. I'm the director. And they're like, no, we're gonna do it our way. And it was like, why did I cast two people who are exactly like their characters? And I was like, and even though I was playing, a character that was violent and stuff, in my dreams, I'm still violent and badass and can fly. So I'm like, you don't want to mess with me, you don't want to cross me. And I swear, if you don't, if you don't want to, if you don't do this, you're gonna get fired. If you keep back mouthing me, I'm gonna make sure that, you regret doing that, with your life. And the fat guy was like, yo, maybe we shouldn't, maybe we should just do what she says. And other guy's like, no, fuck her, I'm not getting paid enough to blah, 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 blah. So I took him and I flew up high and I went above the ocean, or like a body of water or something. And, I was really high up, and, water isn't innocent. It's the most powerful element that exists on planet Earth. And if you're really high up, and this is why, people commit suicide by jumping off bridges into the water, because if you're high enough and you land on the surface of the water, it breaks all your bones. It shatters you. And then you can't swim, you drown, whatever, I don't know, or maybe you die on impact depending on the height or something. So I dropped him, but the damn guy floated. He was all like, oh, yeah, this is a nice swim, thanks, and I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, I'm in control of my dream right now, this shouldn't be happening. And so the fat guy started sassing me, so I took him, and I took him above the water. And I tried again, and he also floated. So then I took both of them, and I raised them above the concrete, decided to fly even higher, and dropped them, and both of them landed on the concrete. And the short one turned into a slice of cheese, and the fat one turned into a cracker. But they were both still able to talk, and still able to move, and they kept following me. Every time I tried to get back to the set, they just kept following me and being all like, hey! And I'm like, no, hey! And so I took them, the cheese and the cracker, and usually in my dreams there is still this blackness where I can drop something and it never returns. I don't remember what I call it, but I drop them over the blackness, and they come right back up, and which has never happened to me before. And I'm like, no, that is the blackness. You go there and you disappear. And so I dropped them again, and I shot into the air, back to the set, trying not to think about the words cheese and cracker. And thankfully, I was able to hire two better actors that, were not jerks. And the cheese and the cracker did not show up again. I don't know why I didn't just eat them. I don't know, maybe I was just so infuriated that they wouldn't listen to me. And then I had one last night that wouldn't pause. Usually when I'm lucid, I can pause my dream so that I can run around and do something and then play it again. I'll say pause, and it pauses, and I'll say play, and it'll play. I can also do rewind, fast forward, etc. Sometimes it does not work, but this is the first time where it's like not worked. Like even as I became more aggressive and saying pause, and so I said pause, and everything was still moving, and I was like, pause the dream, pause, stop moving. And everybody was kind of looking at me on my projections and stuff, and I'm like, you guys aren't supposed to be moving! I need you to pause! It was frustrating. So, since it wouldn't pause, I had to, it was something I was trying to redo. I had rewound back to a certain point so that I could do it over differently. And that's why I needed it to pause, because I needed to get to somebody before they got to a certain point where things would go wrong. Squeaky wheels outside. Ugh, that's a nasty sound. Anyway, so I couldn't, pause it, so I had to run like a moron, go up to the person and be like, I don't know, whatever I said. I was trying to apologize before somebody came down and before two people met up and it all, goes south. I do have this little device thingy where I can redo certain things. But I'm supposed to only use it, every once in a while. It's not something that I should use all the time, but I do it anyway. And so, if I go through something and I think it could have turned out better, or I killed somebody that I wasn't supposed to kill, I can redo it and try something else. Sometimes, no matter what the outcome is, it is always bad. So, if I don't kill somebody, another person will die anyway. Or if I try to save somebody from dying, they will die another way. And it's just like, which one do I choose if all of the outcomes are bad? And I'm sitting there with like a piece of paper, drawing out all of the things that I've tried and all of the things that I could try. And just no matter what, it always comes out to be bad. And I'm just like, well, fuck my life. I'm trying to save this person. And it's like, usually I'm trying to save somebody, but another person I care about dies. So if I try to save them, the person I tried to save before dies, whom I also care about. So I'm like, I cannot choose between you two. I want to save both of you. What do I do? I don't know, my dreams are weird. I think last night's stream, though, was the end of Nightmare season, so, because it wasn't really that bad. I've been having some pretty violent nightmares. Like, the last one I remember, there were two guys, and I had gotten knocked out or something, and I was put into the front seat of, like, a topless Jeep or something, and I was lying down and it was really dark, and one guy was in the back seat, but the other guy was in the front with me, and he was smoking a cigarette, and I couldn't move for some reason, and he had the cigarette in his mouth, and he leaned over me and leaned in as if he were to kiss me, but he took the cigarette and burned my lips with it, and I couldn't do anything about it. Then he took the cigarette out of his mouth and started burning my arms with it. And then the other guy took my other arm and started trying to rip a chunk off of my arm with his teeth. And it was very painful. All of it was very, very painful. But Michael woke me up at that point. Apparently I was thrashing or something. The cigarette burns probably stem from a past experience that I had when I was 6. But, that's what PTSD nightmares are. So, yeah. But I'm hoping that, this break from nightmare season, which I call it, is better. I think I had a dream about Invader Zim last night, too. I don't really remember. I like it best when I don't remember my dreams. I don't look forward to sleeping anymore. Anyway, so, yeah. Try that wall thingy and let me know how it goes. And please don't lie to make me feel like, this was an awesome discovery. Be truthful. You know how much I hate liars. So, You know, if nothing happens, nothing happens. You know, it's not a huge accomplishment. Don't worry about it if it doesn't happen. I'm curious. So yeah, if you liked this video, go ahead and leave a like. Make sure to subscribe and click the little bell. And I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye.